really did try to record this video outside. It's, well, winter is starting here in Canada, and I was freezing. It's really hard to think when you're freezing, so we're doing this inside. You know, I want to talk about what the best camera is, because, you know, for the longest time, I was shooting on cameras like this. This is my phone, same one I've been using, and, you know, it did the job for me. But there are many out there who would tell you that that's not a real photo if it was shot on a phone. And while there's some situations where I would agree with that, I don't tend to think that the action of open camera, press shutter, don't even know what settings are, is very photographic in nature or thoughtful. But I do think that a camera is a camera is a camera. And what I mean by that is anything that can take a picture has a potential for creativity. That means that anything that can take a picture is automatically a real camera. My phone is a real camera, and you know, it's taken some time to kind of realize just how people think about that, because I'm someone who likes to get the most out of every product that I buy. I like to, you know, like with my phone, I'll record video, I'll take photos, I'll edit those videos, and it's a little different for me because I don't have a computer, but either way, if I'm going to make an expensive purchase, I want to get everything out of that. And so, naturally, that carried over to my mobile journey, and it kind of carried over to my photos. And that started after my mobile journey. Like, I was always, you know, trying to run obscure software on my phone. It was all kind of strange. But when I finally got into photography, I really changed the way that I think about it, and that has been very adaptive over my journey. So I find it really frustrating when I see people, you know, on the internet, they say, well, that's not a real camera. That's not a real picture. But what does that really mean? What does it mean to say something's not a real picture? Because if you're saying something's not a real picture, but it was shot with a camera sensor, then you're redefining the very definition of a picture. If you had a creative thought when you were making that photo, I think that that is enough for it to be creative. If you put any amount of effort into the framing of your shot to make it look how you wanted it to look, that's creativity. And so that leads me into the next thing I kind of want to talk about, of the best camera, because it's different for everybody, but my motto is the best camera is the one you have. And for the longest time, you know, that was my phone. I only got this camera that I'm recording this on a week ago. You know, the A6100, I'm really enjoying it, but all I knew before that was a phone. And I didn't let that stop me. I've taken over 4,000, probably closer to 5,000 pictures on my phone, most of them being in manual mode, because when I really started to take a great number of pictures, that was when I switched to manual mode. And I think it was that letting go of the limitations of my hardware that really led me into becoming a better photographer. I don't think I'd be anywhere near where I am today if I hadn't done that. So I think it's really important, if you're just starting out photography or videography, or really it can apply to anything, what you have is the best. What you could get is only a dream. And You know, we can dream a lot about the things that we want. You know, we want a new camera, we want a new phone, whatever it may be. But we have the things that we have right now, and that's not changing unless we make a change. So, in order to kind of make this a better experience for you as a photographer, you have to let go of that. You have to look at your gear not as something on a ladder where the top is, say, the Fujifilm GFX 100 and the bottom is the world's first digital camera, like say the Game Boy camera. You have to stop looking at it like that. You need to look at it more like, what do I have? What outlets for creativity do I have? Because there are legitimately things that you cannot do on certain cameras. Like, if you don't have a telephoto lens and you want to take pictures of birds, well, you really can't. But that doesn't stop you from being creative. It doesn't stop you from making things. And that process of making things is really the most important part of the art. Because, you know, you can make money as a photographer, you can enjoy your gear, but when you're out there in the field and you see something that you want to take a picture of, like you see a beautiful forest glade with a nice contrast of bright fluffy clouds, you want to take a picture of it. That is the most important part of the craft. And you'll notice that when you see that thing that you want to take a picture of, that's independent of your camera. Your camera is simply there to capture it. You are what makes that possible. So never give up based on what your gear is, because it will always be what it is. But you can change. You can make your photos what you want them to be every time. Now, when I first tried to shoot this video, it was outside, it was on my phone, and it wasn't very good. I'm sure there's a lot of wind noise in that recording. And I did take some pictures, so I'll show you those pictures now.